Welcome to Herf Zone Live, the show that is unlike any other cigar show. We have the most eclectic lineup of guests, of which some smoke cigars and some do not. Some will be willing to try. Either way, we bring you the best content weekly. If you are tuning in for the first time every Tuesday at 7:30 p.m., we go live on the Team Shirtless Mike YouTube channel. Make sure to like this video, subscribe, and leave comments while I'm live. Thank you for tuning in. And you can follow me on social media. If you search for Shirtless Mike on Facebook, go ahead and give that page a like. And also find me on Instagram at Shirtless Mike 2020. So this is the last show of 2020, so I figured I would make it a good one and have a comedian on today. And he is actually live all the way from South Carolina right now, doing shows and all that before Christmas. And so it's definitely going to be a good show and all that good stuff. So I want to wish everybody an early Merry Christmas. You know, even though I'm going to drop a video on Christmas Day, just wanted to wish everybody an early Merry Christmas and all that good stuff. And we're going to go ahead and get started because we finally got some people piling in here now. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on Jacoby and we're going to start this interview. What's going on? What's going on, brother? How you doing?
I'm good, bro. What's going on, man?
Man, nothing much. So, I hate to kind of start with, COVID, but, I'm not going to ask about it in 2021. But since it's the last show of the year, what's it been like this year for you? I know it's affected a lot of comedians and stuff, so.
I mean, for COVID, for me, I've been traveling beginning the pandemic and still now, just working on trying to build a stronger social media presence. So it alters all comedians. It changed the way we approach comedy. It changed, It prioritized what we need to focus on. So that's how it is for me.
Yeah, definitely. So you're out there in South Carolina.
South Carolina, boy. What up? What's up, South Carolina? What's going on here, man?
Cool. Yeah. So, do you have a show tonight, or you just got something tomorrow, or?
No, I'm just chilling out here. I had a meeting with a few folks out here, but I'll be heading back home, Florida, spend Christmas with the family.
Nice. That's awesome. So, yeah, we got a lot to talk about. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started here. So I'm gonna start off with this. You're Blasian, black and Asian.
Yeah.
Very unique mix of ethnicities. Tell me what it was like growing up Blasian. How did being a part of two unique cultures shape you as a person?
I don't think the culture shaped me. I think being part of a military family, because my dad he served in the U.S. Army, so we travel a lot. Had a great upbringing. I didn't stand out. I was unique when it came to females, because when they heard that I was half Asian, that's what they get excited about. But it molded me to adapt and to understand different culture, understand just people in general. So, yeah.
Definitely. And so tell me about your your school days and all that. What kind of student were you, and all that? Did you get into a lot of trouble? Kind of give me the 411 on that.
I had a great upbringing. Like I said, I had a great mom, had a great dad. I had an older brother. I was a class clown, so anytime any altercation did occur, you just make people laugh. But that's how I got out of trouble, man. That's make people laugh. So I didn't got into fight. Only time I got in a fight was this girl in Germany. She pushed me off a swing set, dog. Like I said, man, come on, dog.
So you actually fought a girl?
No, I cried and ran home, bro. I never touched her, bro. I couldn't fight her, man.
Yeah, so so you grew up in a military family, and just so you kind of been around the world. Like what places? I know you said Germany, but what other places have you actually lived?
I mean, me and my family lived in South Carolina, Georgia, Texas, Tennessee. I mean, we lived everywhere. Our last station where my dad retired was in Tampa, Florida.
Okay, so, and you went to a few colleges. I kind of, I'm not gonna put them out there, but I did the research. So, you got your BA in Mass Communications and
That's
Media
correct.
Studies. Now, a lot of college graduates, they don't end up getting jobs in their field of study. Was it the same for you, or did your degree go along with what you started out doing for a living?
No, it didn't. It helped me got into many doors, great opportunities. But like I said, I graduated from University of South Florida. I went to Connecticut School of Broadcasting. So my major was mass communication. My minor was radio and television broadcasting. I was in that field once I graduated. I used to work for WQYK, which is back in the day was a big country station in Tampa. I was
Oh,
part
okay.
of the promotion team. But
Okay.
in that industry, them on-air personnel, they don't leave until they retire. So I
Yeah.
didn't felt that's what I wanted to do. So I went to manufacturing. So I was working like just manufacturing jobs. That's what I was working for.
Okay, cool. So, and after, once your dad retired, you guys ended up in Tampa, Florida. So eventually you moved to Melbourne, Florida. So what brought you from Tampa to Melbourne?
I had a job offer before I moved to Melbourne. I was about to go and join Air Force. I was to become a listed officer. At the time, I was engaged. My old manager at Jabil Circuit hit me up and said, "I got a job offer you, so I want you to come to Melbourne." And that's what I did. I called in the officer like, "Hey, I'm not enrolling. I'm moving to Melbourne and turn up." And that's what I did. I moved to Melbourne.
Awesome. And, I first met you. This was like over 10 years ago. So this was one of the first few times that you got on stage. I remember it like it was yesterday because I was kind of trying to start out with and try to do stand-up comedy at that time. So this was over at Crispy's. It was right next to the cigar shop that I used to hang out at. So I was already hanging out there anyway. So I just kind of went over there when it was time, and I came up with some horrendous material. We're not even going to talk about that on the show. And so and your friend Jason, basically how you got started. Your friend Jason dared you to do stand up, and you did. So, upon doing that, describe what what was going through your head when you got on stage the first few couple times.
The first time was a lot of adrenaline rush. I was able to make the crowd laugh. I started doing stand up at open mics, Florida Discount Music in Melbourne. It was a great set. I had a great time. I actually did very well. I had people come up to me like, "Hey, how long you been doing comedy?" I said, "Man, day one." He said, "Nah, you've been doing it for a couple of years." I said, "Nah." So Jason got me to go back again the next week, the following week after that, and I did bad. I was depressed. I was suicidal. I didn't want to live. I did not want to live. I was sad, man. So I stopped doing comedy for a few weeks. Jason came back and just talked me through it and said, "That's what you need to work on." And that's what I did. So I spent another few weeks preparing 5 minutes material, and I got back on stage.
Awesome. And so when was the exact moment that you fell in love with doing comedy?
I didn't fell in love until, oh man, that's such a good question. It's like your first love. You don't know. You know when you fell in love, but you really don't. I can't say I fell in love the first time on stage because it wasn't that. It was like a hobby to me.
Yeah.
When I start opening up for like big names, that's when I knew like this was my calling. I can't say I was in love. I can't say that. I just know this is my calling. So I think it's a natural love to do it.
Yeah, so there was no like defining moment. It was just kind of over time you just kind of realized that, all right, cool,
Yeah.
cool. And so around the time that you got started doing stand-up comedy, the whole comedy scene in Brevard was just, it was in its infancy, just kind of forming. I'm sure that there was people coming here and there before then, but it was just forming into what, it is today. The first real comedy room, like you said earlier, was open mics, and you were part of the group that kind of got things started. Tell me about the early days of that room and how it grew over time and how it helped launch your comedy career.
I mean, it expanded so big where that room was the biggest comedy room in Bavar, where other cities, other county heard about it and wanted to come and check it out. That room every Wednesday was an actual show, like packed, wall for wall, crowd members.
Mm-hmm.
So, like comedy, I will always say Bavar was my first home for comedy. Like Bavar made me, but I also got banned.
Yeah,
I
well, I
got
mean,
banned.
we're gonna talk more about
Yeah,
that, because I'm taking it through the whole timeline here.
yeah. But Bavar was a spot, man. Bavar was my home club, my hometown. Like I
Yeah,
represent Bavar wherever I went.
yeah, and so you did comedy around Brevard, for quite a few years. This you got your start over 10 years ago, making rounds. You've been on various open mic venues and being put on the cards of various shows all around Brevard. But eventually, something changed. You
Hmm.
started, like you said, you started getting a lot of hate from other comics. You were being accused of stuff like joke stealing and other accusations. During this time, how did you deal with the negativity that you experienced on the comedy scene?
I, I I miss a lot of friends. Like me and Jason, our close friend, we stopped talking for roughly 7 years because of that. So our friendship was lost. There were a few people that really kept in contact with me, especially like Ann Walker. She's in New
Yeah.
York now. It didn't stop me. Like I wasn't butthurt. I was not sad at all because I always wanted to work harder than everybody else. So I would go to different cities and go to open mic. I would go to another state and do open mic. I always felt like I was a black sheep. Like to this very day, when you see the cover of the comedy group, I'm not in it.
Yeah. And I didn't even know about that. I was listening to your podcast when doing research for the interview, and so
Hmm.
I wasn't trying to get too deep into it, but you got to kind of touch on that. So, and like I said, on your podcast, you spoke about being banned from the comedy scene because of the accusations. Because of
Yeah.
this, you started, you kind of already starting to travel outside of Brevard, but how did this start to change the course of your comedy career? How did it change you as a comic? Getting out of where you started.
It changed me to become I couldn't be content. So I'm happy that me being banned for stealing jokes, being accused, it pushed me to go outside of my comfort zone. Because a lot of comedians that I see now in Bavar are still in Bavar. We're talking about almost 12 years later.
Yeah.
So it really changed my mindset that you're a one man band. You got to push yourself to become better. You got to push yourself. You got to drive. You got to make those goals and ambitions to change and work on your craft.
Yeah, definitely. And I've seen you perform comedy many times, and your style is very laid back and often just very simple. You don't need a complicated premise to be funny. You tend to keep it simple and really get the laugh with the punchline. What is your creative process when writing jokes?
Day to day life, conversation, life experience, what I see, what I go through, personal. All my stuff is relatable stuff. So my jokes can be presented in front of a crowd that's predominantly white, predominantly black, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, old, young, doesn't matter.
Nice. And so, who are some comics that inspired you to do comedy?
A lot of comedians, I can't. A lot of comedians will say like Dave Chappelle or Chris Rock. It's neither. It's those comics that I see grinding that I could actually go and talk to face to face and have a drink with. So we're talking about a lot of comedians. I would say Jersey. I would say Ken Miller. I would say Devin. I would see Dusty. I see my homeboy Tony. I see Luis. I see Trey. Like all them comics are the one that mold me and push me.
Definitely, definitely. That's awesome. So, a few years ago, comedy it just kind of really took off where you spent years just grinding and doing traveling and everything, and that didn't come without struggle. You have openly talked about some of the struggles you had and the lows and disappointments. Tell me about the hard times you have experienced along the way.
I was in California with my homeboy Damon at we're at where was he? California, Burbank, California. We're at the Laugh, I think Laugh Factory, laughing, some of that. And I was opening for him. I got a call from the mother of my child that my daughter's walking. And like 2 hours before the show, I was crying. I wanted to fly back home. I didn't want to miss that. I mean, I sacrificed a lot. I slept in my car when I was in California. I slept. I mean, I took showers at gyms. I slept in airports when I had no funds. Like, man, them 12 years, man, it was a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of down moments than ups for comedy.
Yeah, like when I was listening to your podcast, you were talking about, you were out there, you would just go get something off the dollar menu, and and that's it's good to hear, that about the sacrifices that you made, because, when things start getting better, it just makes everything so much greater, and so, with that being said, though, if you have somebody who's a new comedian, they're just getting their start, and they're coming to you for advice, what would you tell a new comic about the journey to making it in comedy?
It's a journey. It's not a race. It's a marathon. Don't do it for money. That's not the mindset you need to do it for. You need to do it because you love it.
Awesome. And so you were vouched for to go to LA and perform at the Comedy Store. Who vouched for you, and how did that situation kind of come together? Tell me about the experience you had flying out to LA, performing at the Comedy Store. Just full details, just on the whole experience in general.
Big shout out to Taylor Evan. He lives in Modesto, California. I was working at Walgreens, and at that time, Vine was blowing up, and I didn't jump on it. I decided to do content skits on my regular IG. I did a skit of me using the bathroom at Walgreens, and that's it. And it got to California. Like, people were sharing it, and it got to Taylor Evan. He hit me on my DM, and he said, I think you're really funny. Can you come to the Comedy Store? They do a new face showcase. And now we don't know each other. He just went off by a content of a skit. I was like, yeah, I'll do that, most definitely. And during that process, I had to stop paying credit cards. I stopped paying loans. I made sure that rent was paid, there was food, and my car note for the mother of my child. I saved up 30 days, flew out there, got a hotel for like $50-$60, got a rental car, got there, and it's packed. I mean, I saw Eric Shafir, I saw Joey Diaz, I saw Disney actors and actresses that I've seen on TV. It's surreal. I can't believe I was so surreal that I can't believe I was out there. There's 3 rooms: belly, main, and original. We're in the belly room. A lot of great comedians performed. Patrice O'Neal, Dave Chappelle, Jared Carmichael. Everybody performed at the belly room, no matter what. Everybody performed in those 3 tiers. And it's packed. There's 20 comics. I'm number 14. And every comedian were killing. So my ego, my confidence went down. I said, I don't deserve to be here. Like, these guys are beasts. They're monsters. As soon as I get on stage, I had the whole room dying laughing. Because I'm talking about my experience of being in California that first day. And I had applause break. I had people screaming. After I got off stage, Cindy Levin, she was running the show at the time. She flagged me down. She's like, come here. I was like, oh, God, I'm in trouble because I thought I ran the light. I said, yes, ma'am. She's like, you need to come next month. I said, what you mean? You need to come next month. You're amazing. I say, I can't. I live in Florida. You come in 2 months, and you better not say no. And I was saying, all right. So I was invited 4 times to perform. The 3rd time, I opened up for Tony Rock in the main room because he saw my set.
Oh, okay. So you performed there a total of 4 times based on that first initial performance. Cool. And so something else that you kind of talk about, which I guess we could tie into, about, your experience, going out to California, everything. But living in fear has been something that you have talked a lot about. How did living in fear hinder your progress, and also how did you begin to stop living in fear?
Oh, that's a good question. I lived in fear because of I missed a lot of opportunities when I thought I wasn't ready. When I had the opportunity to go on the road, my first opportunity was going on the road was Kevin James. I told the booker I wasn't ready, even though I had people telling me like you have enough material to compete with him. And I'm not saying compete in a negative way.
Yeah.
I'm saying compete in like in a very friendly way that I can hang with him.
Yeah.
I miss a lot of opportunities because of my fear that I wasn't funny enough or I didn't have enough material. What pushed me over the edge was I had an opportunity to open for Eric Myers. Eric Myers is a Orlando native, but he's in California doing very well. Rapid fire joke comedian. Just he'll get you zero from the first time you're on stage to he get off stage. You are dying laughing. And the booker double booked, and I backed out. I said, "Hey, I'll host. I won't feature." And the booker's like, "No, you're featuring." So that pushed me to feature. And when I did that, I killed. I had people come up to me like, "Man, you were funnier than the headliner." After the show. He was still funny. Don't get me wrong. I love Eric, but I had a lot of compliments.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, are you do you do a lot of features, or if you headline any shows?
I'm working now to headline. I don't have a solid 45 to an hour. I have a good, I would say 25, 30 minutes. A really good 25, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
If someone say 30 minutes, they have 20. So I say I have a good 25 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, that's awesome. And so, at this point, like we said before, you've been doing comedy for 10 plus years now. You've had the opportunity to open for well-known comics over the years here and there. So who are some of the comics you have had a chance to work with, and how did they push you to be better?
Monique Marvez. She was all part of the Snoop Dogg Bad Girls of Comedy. She was a great person to work with. Tony Roberts, Kevin James, Coco Brown. Man, it's a lot. Benji Brown. It was a lot, bro. Like, Tony Roberts was probably the emotional because I cried. I cried when I opened for Eric Myers after I got off stage. And I cried when I talked to Tony Roberts when he pulled me into the green room with his wife. And he gave me the utmost respect of my stand-up. I cried.
Oh, wow. So did you cry like in front of him? Or
I was crying like a bitch. I was like, oh, yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I cried.
Yeah, but it's good though, as far, because that just shows you humility, with, with everything, you're not like, I reached some level, but, whenever you get that good opportunity, you're just, you're able to, just take it in and all that good stuff. And recently though, one of the biggest, comedians that you opened up for, was Gary Owen. I saw you opened up for Gary, and I wanted to make that its own question. So, because he's like one of the biggest, like this dude's like, he's a white black comic, like, and he's out there. So,
my goodness,
you were opening up for him at the Tampa Improv. How was that experience opening up for him? Tell me about the vibe of each show and how it all went. How many days was it?
We had it was 3 nights, 6 shows. So 2 show Friday, Saturday. No, it was 5 shows. 2 show Friday, 2 show Saturday, 1 show Sunday. And each night it was I give a lot of people that come in, I give their space. I don't bother you because everybody has their own thing, their own feng shui, what they do. He was super cool, but he was like really standoffish, if that makes sense. To me, I feel like he was an introvert.
Oh, okay.
Right? So the first time, just introducing myself, he said, "Be gone." I was like, what the?
So he actually said, "Be gone"?
Yeah, he waved me off in the green, like, I don't care. And he walked, he's like, all right. So I was cool. I wasn't hurt by it, but I was kind of thrown off because a lot of comedians I open for, they're just super friendly, right? We're sociable people.
Yeah.
Every night, he just was standoffish to me. Not in a bad way. He would just stand off. He would flick me off. One time, after the second show Friday, he flicked me off off stage. He was like, I was like, oh, F you too, Gary. But Sunday night it kind of wiped everything what happened. He came up to me, him and his road manager, Brad. He's like, you're super funny, bro. Keep on doing what you're doing. So it was to hear that, because I admire him. I watched him growing up and stuff. To hear that really, really made a piece of my heart melt.
Yeah. And so, like, do you think a lot, some of these, like the way he was or whatever, he just kind of has to watch you for a little bit, and you just kind of have to earn your respect with them? Is that what you think it is?
I feel like that's what it was completely. I feel like, I don't know who you are. You're not going to take the show, but I'll let you do you. But it's hazing. I think it was a part of his hazing.
Yeah, because he seems like a real cool dude. Like, I watch the podcast and everything. He doesn't seem like that, but I've heard stuff like that about other comedians, that they're just kind of, that have their ways about them. And you kind of just, they're not going to be, cool with you right away. You just, kind of have to earn your respect and all that if you're doing it. But, but after the show and everything, when he came up, like, did you have like a chance to talk to him for a long time, or was it just kind of an initial, like,
just initial,
you're funny, keep doing it? Okay.
Yeah, that's all it was. Like, that's all. I don't really have conversation with these comics. But it gave me confidence. Like, I can hang with you. Like, that's what I always challenge myself. Like, I want to make sure I can hang with you. I want to make sure that I'm rememberable from beginning to the show to the end, and when people leave. And I was able to do that. Yeah,
definitely. No, definitely. And so So you performed all over the United States. What are some cities that you really enjoy performing in? Like, it could, whatever state, city, whatever, what area have you gotten the best vibes from?
Man, my best vibe is always gonna be Florida. That's hometown. Texas, I always had fun. California was my favorite time. Pennsylvania was cool. New York, I did a few shows in New York, but first is Florida, second is California.
Nice. Anywhere else?
No, that's it.
So, I mean, you're in South Carolina right now. I know you said you had to meet with people today or whatever, but were you doing shows while you're there?
No, just networking out here for a day or so. Yeah.
All right, cool. So now I know I kind of mentioned your podcast a little bit throughout the interview so far, but what was it, within like last year to this year, or this year, something like that? Recently, you started a podcast called the JB Podcast. Tell me about the concept behind it. What has the response been to your vulnerability on your podcast?
Oh, man. I had a lot of good feedback. The reason why I wanted to start the podcast is to show another side of who I am off stage. I want to show that vulnerability side. Want to show that sentimental side. Want to show that emotional side. The strength, the struggle, the ups and downs of everyday life being a single dad, everyday life being a working man, everyday life of being a stand-up comic.
Yeah, because we definitely seen the emotional side. I listened to all the episodes doing research because I had to do what I had to do to gather information to create a good show. But that's awesome. And so, like I said, that's going to lead into the next thing here. So one of the more memorable episodes of your podcast was the one about living in fear. We kind of talked about that, and you got emotional for most of that episode. What made you so emotional when recording that episode?
A lot of flashbacks of sacrifice I made when it came to, my daughter, or it came to my career in comedy. I sacrificed a lot. I lost a lot. And I also gained a lot. So me talking it, being in that secluded bathroom, my daughter was sleeping in the hotel room.
Yeah.
She was sleeping in bed. And I just had this like a emotional rush to talk about it. And that emotional rush came out, and it just poured out, and I was crying. I was crying on the bathroom floor, bro.
Yeah. So you were on the floor when you were, because the whole episode, mostly you were emotional, so you were actually on the floor?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I closed the bathroom door while my daughter's sleeping. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Don't tell nobody. I almost teared up, too. And so, as a comedian who travels a lot and knows a lot of comics, who are some comics that you feel are slept on?
Oh my goodness! Like
There's got to be a lot,
or national level.
It could be whatever, man. Whoever you feel slept on. It could be local, national, in other states, whatever.
I mean, Dusty Lewis from Kentucky is slept on. Super, he's from Kentucky. He moved to Florida. Marlon Maxwell, he's in Florida. My boy Taylor Evans in California. My girl Clarissa in Texas. My boy Jamal in Pennsylvania. A lot of these comics, I wish the light was on them because these are very talented, natural, funny men and women.
Yeah. Now, are a lot of them they like out there doing shows outside of their areas, or
they're trying to based on their situation where they're at.
Oh, okay. So, and let's talk for a moment here about some of the skits that you've done. You kind of talked about it in one of your episodes. You've gotten lots of views and lots of exposure, especially the Crip skits. What was the response like to those skits? I know you mentioned real Crips hitting you up because of the skits. Like I know you in your podcast, you talked about getting in. You got invited to like a Crips like award show, whatever it was called.
Yeah.
I don't want to mess up the name because I ain't trying to like having the hits put out on me.
It's called the God Award. GAWWWD is a big event with Crips Association, and it's an award show for like best music, best artist, best rapper that's in the Crip community. I started doing Crip for no reason. I just trying to find a niche for social media, and it worked. Like, it really did. I had videos that hit 60,000, 90,000, 40,000. Now, the response was negative. Let's be real. It wasn't all positive.
Yeah.
But I did got a lot of good positive feedback from legitimate Crip members from different gang affiliation that was sliding my DM, that was shared by a lot of artists. So, Cuzlo, he's an artist in California. He's the one that hit me up and just gave me a lot of kudos about my skits. He said, hey, can you use my song on one of your videos? I said, I got you, bro. Don't worry about it, bro. And I did. I put one of his songs on his song on my video, and he shared it. And it just went crazy, did crazy numbers. He sent me his number. He said, call me. So I called him up. I said, what's up? I know exactly where I was at. I was in Pennsylvania. I was in Pennsylvania. I forgot the city, though. I was at the Holiday Inn. I called him. I said, hey, what's up, man? It's Jacoby from Florida. Hey, man, it's Cuzlo. I want you to host the God Award in Long Beach. November 14th. I said, bro, you serious? He's like, are you serious? He's like, yeah, man, I'll fly you out. I'll get you in. I'll get you paid, all that. You'll be hosting. I think his name was Spanky Johnson. He was Black Jesus from Adult Swim. Okay. So he said I would be co-hosting with him. Oh wow. So I was like, yo, I'm down. But during that time, me and Trey, we were promoting the Amazon special. Blaming on Trey. So we had a gig at Stardome in Alabama. So when we were trying to arrange, I was trying to find flights. I hit him up like a few days before the event. I said, bro, I can't make it because I can't make the red-eye flight leaving from Alabama to get to California. And he said, hey, don't worry about it. I'll get you next time. So, yeah.
Awesome. So, what was I going to say? So, the negative feedback that you got, you said was like a lot of like the younger cats that, kind of, but like the good feedback, was from like the OGs, right?
Yeah, correct.
All right, cool. So, yeah, that's definitely a shame that you couldn't make it, but hopefully you'll be hosting it whenever they have it again and all that. I gotta light my second cigar. I started the first one before the show. Normally I do a cut and light, so I'm like, we don't have too much more to go. I try to make a bunch of questions, but there were certain ones that you went through kind of quick. So, but we got some more stuff going here. So, I've seen you recently. smoking cigars on social media. I seen you with a few cigars. I'm pretty sure you were at home in Tampa, Cigar City. Have you actually gotten into smoking cigars on a regular basis?
No, it's periodic.
Okay.
It's like a vibe. It's like an energy for me. Like if I'm driving, I was like, man, I feel like a cigar. I go to the cigar shop, cut one, light one up, have a rum and coke.
Nice. Which ones? What cigar shops do you go to?
I go to the one in Ybor City called King Corona, I think. King Corona.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've been there before quite a few years ago. Because if you walk up and down that street, you're into cigars, you'll spend a couple $100. Like I was walking up and down the street, and I bought cigars from like a lot of the places where they were rolling them there and everything.
Yeah.
But King Corona is a nice shop as far as like, they have different brands of cigars and all that. And there's actually a new one opening up called Grand Cathedral Cigars, and there's a chick named Angela Yu, and she's from California, and she's opening that up, so that's gonna be something good. I don't know if you know about the Fuente family, Carlito Fuente and Arturo Fuente cigars. You've probably seen some of their cigars around if you see the band, but she's like really big in with them, and she's got all kinds of like rare Opus X and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Do you have any idea like what brands that you pick up, or you just kind of have somebody pick out something for you? Or
I just go by my gut feeling. If I like the name, I was like, this must be good, and I look at the price.
Yeah.
$7, I'll get it.
Yeah, because there's definitely a lot of different prices on cigars. Like, I smoke a lot, so I have like an everyday cigar that's in the $2 range. This is the San Geronimo by Dr. Gabby Caffey.
Okay.
It's like $2.64, and so that's like my everyday cigar. And then if I go to a cigar shop, I'll get something nicer because I was going through a time where I was spending way too much money on cigars. Like, I'm talking about thousands a month and all that.
Golly.
But now, since I ain't working, I mostly, I got my everyday cigar, the San Geronimo. It's a $2 cigar that smokes good.
Okay.
And, it's a good cigar. You kind of get into that vibe or whatever. So
I got to smoke with you one day.
For sure. Hey, when are you coming back to Brevard?
Probably. Oh, that's a good question.
Because I know it's been a minute. I haven't even really been going out to anything comedy related. I just been kind of like focusing on the whole cigar thing. So whenever you come back to Melbourne, man, just let me know. And
I definitely do.
I'm the cigar mayor of Brevard County, so when we walk into the cigar shop, I'm a cigar celebrity. So I mean, we both will be treated like royalty. So.
I got you.
All right, we're getting towards the end here, so just got a few more things. So what does the future hold for Jacoby Bruton as far as comedy goes?
We're going to work on my Netflix special, hopefully by end of 2022, and get back into the college circuit. We're working to be full-time in 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah, completely full-time.
Yeah, I mean, so you're just kind of like part-time with it and all that, and that's good. I thought you were kind of full-time already, or at least partially,
Partially. We're almost there. We still got to have an income, so I mean, I still got child support to pay, so I still have a regular job. But we will be there in 2 years full-time.
All right, cool. And so what upcoming shows do you have coming up? I know you had a bunch of flyers and that you posted, so kind of talk about those.
So right now I'm doing this. This was one of the events for today. That's on my calendar. Then January 8th I'll be at Bonkers Comedy Club in Orlando. January 13th to 16th I'm opening up for Vince Taylor in Bellevue, Florida. December 21st I'll be at the Hinder Comedy Club in Dallas, Texas. Then we'll be going to there's a show pending in New York for March. So that's the goal for 2021 is to get out here, start doing shows, build your social media, but really work on your craft and make sure your craft can be versatile in every state and city.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, if the whole New York thing goes through, you might have to quarantine for 2 weeks.
I know. Tell me about it.
because New York, man, they're not playing around. They're not playing around.
Not at all. That's why that show pending right.
Hey, you never know. I mean, if I were you, I would just wait a couple years till things just cool down.
Nah, bro, you gotta go out there, bro.
All right, you'll be quarantining for 2 weeks.
I'll take the vaccination, bro.
The health department will be calling you. So, where can everybody follow you on social media?
Man, follow me on Facebook at Jacoby Bruton. The name is below. Instagram is Jacoby_Bruton. Snapchat, Blackanese 1984. And TikTok, Jacoby Bruton Comedy.
Awesome. Yeah, I kind of got on TikTok. When I first got on there, I was a little active, and I haven't been active like that. But like, I got a friend that's done cigar videos, and he has one that's like over 1 million views.
Ooh.
And I know a few people that are getting them real numbers. I know Dorian Gale. Bro, he's getting like mega views, and Steve Harvey actually shared his video on Friday.
I'm mad. God, I'm mad.
I mean, yeah, I did an interview with him, and eventually I'm gonna have him back on because that's before I got my microphone, and like the audio was terrible. And eventually
don't do another video. Forget that dude. Forget that guy. Move on to another one.
But I mean, that's gonna be like in the future because as things progress and everything. So yeah, man. Hey, I really appreciate you for coming on the show, man. Like big time. Like
thank you so much.
Now you got a full real interview out there, and then when you're traveling, tell them to search for Herf Zone Live, Jacoby Bruton.
I got you, bro.
You're good, man. People can know more about you and all that good stuff. So
thank you, sir.
Once we get off of being live, we can chop it up for a few minutes and everything, and then the whole interview will be available right off of YouTube. From the same link, but it will show up in my videos tomorrow. But the link that I put on the flyer, you could you could take that link and still share it out or whatever. So yeah, I want to thank every single person for tuning in to Herf Zone Live, and like I said, I want to wish everybody out there a Merry Christmas. The next show, we're taking a week off, so the next show will be January 5th, and we got Honest Abe DeBabna from Smoke In. We're gonna talk about the Great Smoke virtual event for 2021, so you're not gonna want to miss that. All right, thank you so much for tuning in. Y'all have a great rest of your night.
We out, boy.